Hi, I'm Joel Bloom, president of New Jersey Institute of Technology. At NJIT, we believe that not only our students, but all citizens need to be informed about the issues facing higher education. As New Jersey's Science and Technology University, NJIT is proud to support the important programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, United Airlines, Valley National Bank, ADP, a comprehensive provider of human resources technology and services, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities, and by NJM Insurance Group.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at it.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. Once again, he is with us. Yeah, I'm on fire, John. What do you want me to do? We got our good friend, John Schreiber, president and CEO of NJPAC, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, a terrific organization, even better than before. What's up? By the way, we're doing this in the summer of 2018. What's one of the most exciting things going on at the PAC?
Well, one thing that we're thrilled about is that our residential tower, our apartment house across the street from the Arts Center, is now renting, leasing.
Wow.
And
I remember when you broke ground.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to happen there?
Well, with 245 luxury apartments, 10% affordable. We've been leasing for the last 3 weeks or so. Already 35 people have signed up for places, and I'm moving there. I'm going to move there in September. Yeah, exactly.
I always say, John, every time I'm with you, I ask you this question, like, okay, you're a performing arts center, and we've had a long time collaboration. We've done so many productions there. Okay, it's the arts. You guys are the best. What are you doing in economic development? The answer is?
Really important part of our mission, and that is the economic revitalization of Newark. It was something that Governor Kane thought of 30 years ago when he first imagined a performing arts center. So we have 7 acres of developable land on our campus. We're going to, in success, be building more residential, a hotel, a conference center, an education center. You know, we are a mission-driven place. We're a community-oriented place. And the future of Newark is really important to us.
On the arts side, some of the great, exciting concerts coming up, things happening?
Well, we have Horizon Foundation Sounds of the City. Which,
is that on what day?
Thursday night.
Yes.
Thursday nights.
It's a party.
Big, free outdoor concerts, exactly.
Right.
Thousands of people show up. We're really grateful to Horizon for making it possible, and folks like Felix Hernandez will have a dance party. John B., the great saxophonist Maceo Parker, Universal Hip Hop, all sorts of stuff. So,
you know, the other piece of this is, and again, you and I were talking about this before it got in the air, so much of what goes on at NJPAC is a product not just of the work of you and your great team, but of partnerships and collaborations. Describe them.
Oh gosh, we have 100+ partners. You know, we are an anchor cultural institution.
Describe what that means, an anchor cultural institution.
What it means is a place that will be there today, be there tomorrow, be there in 20 years, be there in 50 years, God willing. A predictable place that offers real value to citizens. And as an anchor, we have the ability to collaborate with any number of other organizations, whether it be Rutgers Newark,
with Nancy Cantor over there, who was the
great
chancellor.
Nancy Cantor, who's such a terrific partner.
Prudential. We just had, by the way, John Strangfeld, the CEO
yes.
of Prudential, just said, hey, say hello to John Schreiber. And he serves an important role there.
He's our board chair. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
Prudential is a great,
Yeah.
citizen.
Talk about an anchor
citizen
institution.
of Newark, citizen of the world. Their social investment team is involved in, I think, 8 different real estate developments that are currently being constructed in and around the city. We work with the Newark Museum, we work with the Newark Public Library, we work with the Grammy Museum. We do 200 events for free in the community in Greater Newark over the course of each season.
You work with our colleagues at NJTV.
We sure do.
Absolutely.
We sure do. Yeah.
On all kinds of things.
Yeah.
By the way, that's Newark and the surrounding communities.
Yep.
What's going on in Asbury Park with NJPAC? What are you doing down there?
We are doing a bunch of shows down there at the Paramount Theater and at the Convention Hall. We are presenting, this year we'll do about 30 shows down there. Madison Marquette, the real estate developers are our partner, and we love that community. We're taking our arts education work and our community engagement activities into Asbury, which is a really interesting
Why are you doing
community. Because they need it. As you know, the arts are the first thing that gets cut when school budgets get cut. So if we can introduce students to dance and jazz and theater and hip hop and poetry, let's do it, and so we're excited to bring that work there. But we are a presenter that is sort of without boundaries, right? So we have this show called the Hip Hop Nutcracker.
Didn't we do the Hip Hop Nutcracker? We did a special on it. We had a woman who was dancing. Yeah, it's great stuff. Go ahead, talk about it.
It'll play 40 cities around the country this holiday season.
And you're the presenter.
And it's our show, yeah. So that's a great way for us to sort of spread the good news, spread the joy, and make a little money too.
John Schreiber, do you wake up in the middle of the night and sometimes say, hey, wait a minute, I have an idea, something of all the things we've done, this is something we should do, and because I get these crazy ideas.
Sure,
and,
yeah. We're similar that way. Right.
What do you do with that?
What do you do with that? Yeah. You know what you do? First of all, you try to remember it, right?
I send a text to myself, which worse is I send some stuff to my team, which is worse. But what do you do?
If I have an idea that lasts through the morning, I will go to my colleagues, I'll go to my teammates, I'll go to people like David Rodriguez, who's our executive producer, or I'll go to Katie Sword, who's our head of marketing, or I'll go to our head of education, and I'll say, here's a thought. Is there any validity to this? And sometimes they'll say to me, Schreiber, you're crazy. Move on,
Right.
But sometimes they'll say maybe. And I have this great gig because I can take a minute and try to develop an idea and see if there's legs to it. And so,
as a leader and as a student of leadership, but you as a leader, your background in jazz, I've asked you this in different ways in the past. You love jazz, you understand jazz, you can play, you do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Here's the question.
Yep.
How much of your being a jazz aficionado impacts your leadership style?
That's a really interesting question. Wynton Marsalis once said to me that listening is important in music and listening is important in life. And so that's a thing that I try to keep in mind, right? As a boss, I try to listen more than I talk. I don't always succeed, but I try to do that. And the other thing is, when a quartet of jazz musicians get together, there is a collaboration that is essential to their success as music makers. If they don't listen to each other, if they can't play off of each other, they're not going to make great music. So,
are they all leaders in their own right, or does there have to be one quote-unquote leader?
Well, the nature of jazz is that there's a identified leader, but then within the framework of any tune, everybody takes the lead at one point or another.
Yeah.
So yes. So I think jazz has taught me a lot about collaboration, and at the end of the day, has informed the way I operate as a boss.
You're good at what you do, John. Keep doing it.
So are you.
Thank you, partner.
Thanks for having me.
John Schreiber,
Okay.
New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Check it out. They're the best. We'll be back right after this.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
For the first time with us here on One on One, we have Carlos M. Rodriguez, who is president and CEO of the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. How you doing, Carlos?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
A quick description of your extraordinary organization.
So the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, over 40 years of fighting hunger. But the interesting thing is that we don't do it alone, and we don't just do it by providing food. We work with an army of partners, volunteers across a number of different sectors, because that's what you need to do when you need to reach just nearly 1 million New Jerseyans who are in need.
Talk about the hunger issue. How bad is the situation today?
You know, so it's not getting any better. The economy is. No, the economy is, but people are still being left behind. And so here's the big misconception that'll put everything in perspective. Many of the families that we're serving have at least one person working. But with jobs coming in and not being enough to meet the expenses, especially here in New Jersey, you have a lot of families who struggle to make ends meet. So on top of that, you have a growing number of seniors who can't afford to live in New Jersey or find it hard to live in New Jersey, and you have children who are having a hard time developmentally and learning because, again, if there's not enough food on the table, you can't be a good worker, you can't have an active and healthy lifestyle when you're older, and you certainly cannot grow and learn the way you should and could.
Carlos, as we put the website of your organization, we've collaborated before, we've done public awareness together with you and your colleagues about the issues you're talking about. As we put the website up, people say, because I've been to your location, pretty extraordinary. Describe what is there, because it is extraordinary.
Well, when you think about the problem of hunger and it reaching and touching close to 1 million people, and you walk into our facility and you see...
Describe it.
5 football fields big. Not just our facility in Hillside, but also our southern branch down in Atlantic County. Then you start really putting your arms around the problem and the opportunity to help. Because hunger in New Jersey, in America, very solvable. Very solvable.
Why do you say that?
Because we don't have a lack of food in our communities. We have a lack of access to that food. Think about it.
Give us an example.
New Jersey is the Garden State, literally because so much food, so much great produce is produced here, but also because it's really a hub for how a lot of food travels to the surrounding areas, whether it's up north or down south. It's a great hub for actual food. And so it's here. What we don't have is families' ability to connect it with that food, and the barrier sometimes is financial. Most of the time is financial.
It is. It's a money. Let me try this. Let me switch gears. What can people do? Again, as people look at the website, they go on, they go, hey, listen, they're doing really good things. What can someone do?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is understand who's hungry and why. Because it really frames the issue differently. When you realize that it's your neighbor in need, a working family that could easily be anyone you know, then the problem becomes a lot more real and you can really connect with it. And then the solutions become very simple. At the food bank, at Community Food Bank of New Jersey, you can volunteer your time, your treasure, but more importantly, first and foremost, your voice. Help spread the word that it's nearly 1 million New Jerseyans that are in need, and that being a part of the solution is something that everyone can engage in.
Are there policy decisions, Carlos, being made federal level, state level, that directly impact the population you're talking about, which would only exacerbate the hunger problem?
There are. So right now being debated in Congress is the Farm Bill. And among many different things, it's the reauthorization of the SNAP program.
SNAP,
We formerly know it as food stamps.
SNAP stands for?
Supplemental
Nutrition
Assistance Program.
Got it.
And so
federally funded.
Federally funded. It's important to the work that we do because it puts puts money in the hands of working families and allows them to buy food the way you and I buy food. More importantly, for every meal that the Community Food Bank provides, and by the way, we provided enough food for 47 million meals last year. Every SNAP provides 12 meals. 12 meals. So if you chip away at that program, for many families that are not receiving it or currently receiving it, the private sector, community food bank, cannot step in and fill in the gap.
You know, people talk about the corporate community. Banks like, I know, Valley National and organizations like ADP, Horizon, others. And there are many others. You can look on the website that we put up for the community food bank. You could not do what you do without corporate, dare I call it philanthropy or social investment?
I think it's being a good corporate citizen. It's making sure that when you talk at Community Food Bank, we can have a conversation with you about workforce development. We can have a conversation around education. We can have a conversation around nutrition education, because all of those things are key components that can be facilitated by putting food on the table. And so you're right. I mean, the private sector has an invested interest in making sure that we have a strong workforce, that we have a well-educated workforce, none of which happens without good nutrition.
Now, you talk about the workforce development piece. The initiative that I want to talk about here, our friend Josh Weston, a great friend of public broadcasting, told me about this. We're having breakfast a couple of years ago. He said, Steve, you need to find out about the Food Service Training Academy, which you guys run. It's a 15-week program?
15-week program for folks looking for their first success or a restart or another success in life. They come in, they not only learn culinary skills, but they also learn life skills. Because you can be the best chef in the world, but you need to know how to get to work on time and work and know how to work in a work environment. And so 15 weeks, then they get job training and job placement.
Talk about the placement, where?
So the placement, so we have a tremendous family of food partners. Restaurants, institutional facilities, places like Rutgers College,
Right.
Rutgers University, NJPAC, Nico's.
Nico's, what a great restaurant.
Any place that's a partner of the Community Food Bank is a potential employer of one of our graduates. But here's the best part. Not only are they doing well for themselves and their families, as they're learning, they're helping to produce meals for children. And so children's in low-income communities. So it's really a wonderful 360 of an experience.
Yeah, real quick before you go, you've often said, think beyond hunger. 30 seconds, go.
Think beyond hunger. So it's workforce development, it's education. It's making sure that families, as they fall on hard times, don't lose sight of nutritional and how to make the best nutritional decisions with the food that they can. And very quickly, we're very excited to be working with the state of New Jersey, Department of Human Services, and Department of Health to be relaunching the SNAP Ed program, which helps us do exactly that. Make sure that families have the tools to make good nutritional decisions, behavioral changes, and help the community make sure there's good food available as well.
Our friend Carlos Rodriguez is president and CEO of Community Food Bank of New Jersey, making a difference in the lives of so many people every day. Kathleen DeChara, who was the leader of the organization for so long, taught us so much, and the organization's in good hands, my friend.
Still teaching us. Thank you.
Oh, she teaches all of us. Thank you. Appreciate it, Carlos. Stay right there. We'll be right back with One-on-One right after this.
To see more One-on-One with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're pleased to welcome Mr. Bill Ryan, President and CEO of the Transplant Games of America, and Elisse Glennon, Vice President, New Jersey Sharing Network, and full disclosure, a new member of the Board of Trustees at the Caucus Educational Corporation. This is a big deal. July 2020, the Donate Life Transplant Games. Bill, what is it and why does it matter?
Well, you know, the games been around since 1990. They're intended to raise awareness for organ, eye, and tissue donation and make people aware that there's 115,000 people still waiting for an organ in the United States.
Wow, and in New Jersey, that number, Elise, is?
We are just about 4,000 people currently waiting for a life-saving transplant.
And people who watch our program on a regular basis know that we've been collaborating with the Sharing Network for several years now to increase awareness around organ and tissue donation. The connection between the Sharing Network and the Transplant Games is?
Well, we're thrilled to bring a national program here to New Jersey.
It's going to be in New Jersey.
It's finally going to be in New Jersey. We're really excited.
Big deal.
Yes, I think our entire community is just thrilled. Transplant recipients, patients waiting, donor families, our hospital partners, the transplant centers, the entire donation and transplant community is thrilled to bring this type of program right here to New Jersey. And we feel it's going to raise the level of awareness of organ and tissue donation. It will help increase the donor registry. It will certainly get this conversation started around the dinner table. It's a very important conversation for people to have, and we're thrilled to be hosting.
Bill, what goes on in the games?
There's a lot. There's 6 days of 21 sports competitions.
Let's do the dates, by the way. I'm sorry for interrupting. We're talking about July 17th to July 22nd. Go ahead.
2020. There'll be 21 sporting events and probably 58 to 65 programmed events ranging from opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies, donor tributes, workshops, seminars. It's a host of activities for 10 to 12,000 people, and it's going to be a big deal.
Why New Jersey? A lot of competition, as I remember.
There is a lot of competition, but the team put together a great presentation. They won the bid based on the fact that there is a lot going on here in the East Coast, and there's a lot of work to do in the donation transplant community here.
The opportunity to make a difference in this, Elisse, we've talked about this on air and off air. All the people who are waiting, what's life like for them?
It's hard. Games like these, opportunities to bring the community together, provide hope. And I feel like that's one of the most important things, because when you are waiting for a transplant, you don't know what the future holds for you.
Uncertainty.
And if we could provide, we as the Sharing Network, we as the Transplant Games could provide a little bit of hope for those people on the waiting list where they see life after transplant. They'll see thousands of transplant recipients who had that hard, long wait. They'll see them with their beautiful and very productive lives after transplant. And I think that's something we really can do for those patients here in New Jersey and across the country.
This is a national event. You're seeing the information for both the Transplant Games and the Sharing Network on the screen. Go on the website to find out more. But let me ask you this. From a national perspective, we've been involved in public awareness in New Jersey and in the region. How aware are most folks about the folks who are waiting, and the difference that we can make? Because in New Jersey, license, I'm actually renewing my license as we speak today, and there's a check off. Tell everyone real quick, you check off, I'm in.
You can check off on your driver's license or register online on the National Registry.
Is it the same thing across the nation, Bill?
Yeah, it's pretty much. Every state manages their own local database, and some states do it better than others. But the national database is meant to be a supplement to the statewide programs, and they're all doing a better job. We're slightly over half the adult population in the United States are on the donor registries. Half. We need more. We need more to address the needs of the community. So New Jersey's got some pretty good numbers. There are some states that don't have very good numbers at all. So our message is national in scope. We have 44 teams from around the country that participate. I mentioned 115,000 people earlier that are on the list waiting for an organ, but there's also 500,000 people undergoing dialysis right now. That some of which could be candidates for transplant.
How'd you get into this?
I'm a donor dad. I lost 2 daughters over the course of my life, and it's an activity that means a lot to me. My one daughter was a donor, and so I kind of took up the sword from her to fight it.
It's interesting how personal this is for so many people. I've disclosed many times on the air that my wife Jen donated her kidney to her brother, and so I got to see it close up. It is the gift of life.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought up how personal it is, because the other thing you're going to see at the Transplant Games is that, yes, the recipients are competing for medals, but you know who gives them the medals? The donor families.
Wow.
So there's really a beautiful connection. We are going to encourage the entire community to come out and watch these games, or a portion of it. We're certainly going to promote it wide and far.
By the way, I got some partners here that are helping making it happen. Who are they?
Yes. RWJ Barnabas Hackensack Meridian Health,
The Meadowlands Chamber?
The Meadowlands Chamber and Convention and Visitors Bureau, American Dream.
Wow.
All part of our bid, all coming together to make this happen here. We all intend to make this the biggest games that have ever been before, and everybody's fully on board.
By the way, there's games happening. Is it Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
When?
August 2nd through the 7th. Come on out.
Okay, that's this year. That's 18.
Yep.
So it's every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
This is extraordinary. And someone watching right now, you're watching us on a lot of different states, a lot of different platforms, digital, TV, listening on radio, wherever you're seeing us. What can someone do if they say, hey, I want to be a part of those games in New Jersey in 2020, July? By the way, we're talking July 17th to the 22nd. They want to be a part of it.
Well, I'd encourage them to get onto the website and take a look at it. There's a way to sign up for newsletters and be caught in the news and be updated on things that are going on leading up Salt Lake City as well as the games in Jersey.
Well, if you will have us, we will be there with our crew and a whole bunch of other folks in the media, I'm sure, documenting this and promoting public awareness. I cannot thank you enough. Appreciate you coming in, and as always, my friend.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Steve.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, United Airlines, Valley National Bank, ADP, NJIT, PSE&G, and by NJM Insurance Group. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. And by NJ.com, small news, big news, true Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
NJM Insurance Company has been serving New Jersey policyholders for more than 100 years. But just who are NJM's policyholders? They're the men and women who teach our children, the public sector employees who maintain our infrastructure, the workers who craft our manufactured goods, and New Jersey's next generation of leaders, the people who make our state a great place to call home. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.